Well, welcome everyone to Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game. I'm your host, Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, paying for your children's college, part one in our series on funding strategies for college with college funding expert Claire Frey. Welcome to the show, Claire.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Claire, college planning, I got to say, most of the time people come on our show, we're doing retirement planning, we're doing estate planning, we're doing all kinds of planning. Very few come in here for college planning, and you're a millennial. You've been in the business, you're the second generation in your business. How did you pick this area? I mean, there's a lot of places in the code you could have went. Why did you choose this area of planning?
Well, for me personally, my father is a financial advisor, and he put me through school. And in doing so, I went to college in 2008, and successful as he is, business owner, cash flow was tight. We did not file for financial aid, assumed we wouldn't qualify. I got into University of Dayton. They handed me a little bit of merit scholarship. We were thrilled, took it. I graduated with my degree in finance to go into business with him. Though when I graduated and thought about the impact that putting me through school had on my family, I had a conversation with him. How was there not a better plan for this? And he explained there's not much of a focus on that in the financial planning business. And I decided before joining the family business, I'm going to go out, study this area of college planning, learn what does the financial aid process entail. The more I learned, the more I realized I want to really focus on helping families navigate the college planning process and avoid the mistakes that so many families are making, my family is making. And when we talk about college planning, it comes down to this. It's very misunderstood and underserved. Really requires a fiduciary framework. It's complicated for most families. If your children are in high school right now, it's urgent. And as you'll see, it's a huge wealth transfer.
Now, when you think about this, you're walking people through the mechanics. You've already done whatever mistakes or you didn't optimize your plan when you were going through school. You have ways to really make a major impact on the spending of college tuition. I mean, I just looked at, I think it was Fidelity put out $1.2 trillion in student loan debt today. And next to a home, this is right there in total outlay for a deposit down. So how do we get there? Walk me through this, because when you say it's urgent, I get it. People are in high school. They're not even thinking about this. They're thinking they'll wait till the senior year. That's too late, according to you.
It is. It's the best place to start is whenever you can. So most things that we work with families who have high school students, it's never too late. It's never too early. The best place to start is as soon as possible. Earlier is better, yes.
Well, walk us through
it. College planning, the 3 pillars: get accepted to college, maximize financial aid, and then fund the cost. The term COA, many families aren't familiar with this. What it is it's the cost of school, and defined as 1 year cost of tuition, fees, room, board, books, transportation, personal expenses, miscellaneous. Everything associated with 1 year of education is COA. Here's an example of cost of attendance at a private school these days. School can cost a 4-year education anywhere from $40,000 to $250,000. It's like buying a new car. So it's not just 1 year of school, it's 4. And if you have more than one child, really, Steve, it's like buying a fleet of cars.
And don't I know that? Yes.
This is called the personal economic model. It's what we use to explain anything that can happen financially in someone's life. And typically, when a family has to pay for college, the funding of school requires draining these tanks. That is, assuming that there's money in them. Otherwise, you are going to pay for it by taking money from your income that you earn, or oftentimes people will use OPM, other people's money. They'll go out and borrow the money to fund college, which puts a lien against your future earnings. And another option is to take a loan against your home, a home equity loan.
And all these are expensive. This is not cheap.
So it's very expensive. And it's not just that initial cost of college. It's the opportunity cost. And opportunity cost simply means if you lose or spend a dollar that you could have saved or invested, what would that dollar have generated in interest at some future time? That's opportunity cost. And if we look at an example, say there is a $30,000 expense, and assuming 6% interest over 30 years, it's not just the $30,000. It's had that $30,000 been invested and earning 6% interest, what would it have earned? $150,000 on top of that. That's opportunity cost. And when we look at how does that relate to college? Well, let's take an example where mom and dad are 46, assuming a $30,000 cost of attendance or out-of-pocket cost. And there's a statistically high chance that at least one of them will live until 86, assuming a 6% rate of return. 30,000 times 4 is certainly 120,000. Steve, any idea what $30,000 for 4 years could have generated at interest by age 86?
I don't know, but rule of 72, maybe 3-4 times that value.
$1,013,387. So it wasn't just the $120,000 that it cost. It was $1,133,387 when you count the opportunity cost.
Now, when you show this to potential parents who are trying to figure out college planning, is this the first time they're seeing something like this?
In most cases, yes.
So it's not just a shock of the cost of the school. Now we're talking about the money that we're laying out for it and the opportunity cost loss.
Yes, and it's crucial to think about this when we plan for college. Yes, we want to get this number down as low as possible, and through student positioning, there are ways to do that. But even more important is looking at strategies to avoid this loss of so much opportunity cost. How do we keep that money working for us?
And when you split this up, you have people, are they coming to you with 4 years out before they go to college? Is the average person, no, it's their senior year? When are they coming to you? When are you seeing people at your seminars?
Sophomore and junior year. And ideally, the best time to start is freshman year or younger. But sophomore and junior year, there's still a lot of time to make some very impactful changes and strategize to put families in a better position.
So even if they were at the end of their sophomore year, that 2 years of meeting with you and sitting down with a plan could be so significant it could save them thousands and thousands of dollars.
Or more.
Or more.
Yes.
Well, I'm into more.
Absolutely. So we just saw college is really, really expensive, especially when you look at that opportunity cost. How do we pay for that? How do we fund college? Well, there's savings. If you've got money saved, that's great. I'm there with you in that boat. If you're a parent saving for your child's college education, great. Although what most people realize when that time comes that their kid's going to be going to school in a few years is that they probably have not saved enough to cover the overall cost of college. And knowing how savings works in the financial aid process is important. When you submit the financial aid forms, when you submit FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, there's a section where you have to list parent assets and a section for student assets. Say you have $20,000 saved for college. If that $20,000 is in a student account, say an UGMA, an UTMA, or your child has been a good saver throughout high school, you have to list that amount in the student asset section, and it can count against your ability to receive financial aid at up to 50% on the dollar. The school can come back and say, you need to spend $10,000 of that in the first year before we're going to give you any help. If it's a parent asset, it counts against you at about 5.5% against your eligibility for financial aid.
So UTMA 529 plans, good or bad?
Well, they hurt your ability to receive financial aid. So I guess that's up to you. If you're someone who thinks that you might qualify for financial aid, then saving in the 529 plans, the uniform gift or uniform transfer to minor accounts, that's going to cause you to receive less financial aid than you would had you saved elsewhere.
Well, I'm just trying to think. Every day you're talking to people and looking at these issues. Should I put this away in a 529 or not more? Any of those ideas? Or should I stay out of that because I really want to go to third party to fund my college education, whether it's a FAFSA going to the feds or you're going to different places. I mean, I even saw Discover Cards got stuff out there. So scholarship, when you're looking at it, people are looking at all these things. Scholarship, maybe a lesser school, maybe starting out a junior college.
Yeah, well, scholarships, something that I want to touch on when it comes to scholarships, they're great. Absolutely an area we want to focus on maximizing how much scholarship you can get. And most families, when it comes to scholarships, are looking into private scholarships. That's when you go on Google and you type in, how do I get scholarship money? And families are bombarded by all of the websites and companies and money out there, spending hours applying, writing essays, going for these scholarships. And really what they're doing is going into a pool with thousands of other families for the same scholarship. And it's kind of like a lottery. The larger the scholarship, the lesser chance that family has of receiving it. That's private scholarships. Steve, they make up for about 5% of the money that's available out there for financial aid. The other 95% of where the money comes from, about $135 billion available through need-based financial aid, merit aid, and institutional aid. And I'll talk more about those here shortly.
Listen, don't forget to watch our next segment on the myths of college planning, part 2, in our series on funding strategies for college. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas you hear in our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or your financial advisor. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.